frequently. We talk to Congress people frequently on behalf of the whole county. Everyone who's in elected office knows that when you're talking about constituents, it doesn't represent 100% of the constituents. It represents what the elected officials have gathered as the predominant view of their constituency, what they feel as elected officials is right for their county.
Where did you gather? You didn't have a vote.
Obviously, you haven't.
Can I speak, please?
Yeah, you're not listening to
Can
us.
I speak, please? I'm listening carefully, and I'd ask you to do the same. I've listened very carefully to every one of your statements. I still don't see any reason whatsoever to that the provisions we're asking for in this letter are would take away anyone's rights at all. We're asking for simple steps, not a step that's going to lead to erosion of the laws. I know you disagree with me, and I appreciate what Mr. Williams just said. We have to respect each other's opinions and respect each other, and I respect each of you in your room in this room for your opinions. I was elected in this office, and I feel a responsibility to.
You're not listening.
I'm listening carefully.
You know,
I would amend the letter if the commissioners would like to remove the statistics. That's fine with me, because I know that various statistics say different things. If we'd like that paragraph out, that's fine. Number 2, ban assault weapons. If we want to change that to semi-automatic assault weapons, I'd be okay with that. The definition of assault. If you want to define assault rifles, that's not my job here as a commission.
You really do. You're anti-gun and you have a hidden agenda. I'm not speaking for the people, and I'll tell you right now, you have a hidden agenda. You're anti-gun. We do not support you.
Easy.
My agenda is very clear. So, with that stated, I will close the discussion part of this, and I will bring it to the board for a vote.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I think there is room for, additionally, there is room for a statement saying that there are members of our community that don't agree with the information that or everything that we've drafted in this letter. I think we can add that in here in some form that addresses some of the issues, to state that not everyone in San Miguel County agrees with everything that's in this letter. And that's all right with me. I still feel comfortable sending the letter with the items that are in here, but making that statement on behalf of the folks in this room who do not feel 100% behind this.
Send your letter if you'd like, but just not as representation of the county.
No, I still feel I have to, and I've been listening to the conversation too, and there's a lot of things that have been said that I think are really good, and things I think that are being discussed in Washington within Congress and within the Senate about education, etc. Those things that I think that are very important in terms of making people aware of what their uses of guns are for and all that. And I think that conversation will go on and we'll get to a better place because of that. But I do think it's important to recognize that there are people, whether they have as much information as you do about guns because you use them for sport or whatever on a regular basis, and those that don't. But the conversation has to happen. And in one way, and I think the reason why I want to add that additional point to this letter saying not everybody agrees 100% with this is because of that. Because I do think there are people who are not informed enough to be able to make as educated a decision as they might if they had more information. But there are lots of things in this that I believe a lot of our constituents in this county do believe is the correct direction to go. And so that would be my suggestion. We just modify the letter to that extent by saying not everybody in the county agrees with this. But we would like you to take these things into consideration.
Can we say something else?
Just a second, no. We're people who've already spoken aren't going to speak again. I really need to wrap this up. Gentleman back there first, and then Kevin. Can you state your name for the record, please?
I'm Talon Thompson, and I just want to say, if you take away all that stuff and you ban high-capacity magazines, you ban assault rifles, the only people that are going to have them is the people who don't obey the law in the first place.
Amen.
Thank you. Kevin.
I would just like to, I mean, if you're going to send the letter, I would at least want you to include some of the other issues that are important to the whole gun control debate, like mental health issues. That, a lot more focus on maybe include something in here, maybe step 5 about promoting better mental health services for people, because the people that do these types of things, like Sandy Hook or Aurora, are obviously people who are mentally ill. They're not responsible gun owners. And so I think leaving that out is like saying, oh, it's all about guns. Those people, that gun could lay there for 1,000 years. It's not going to hurt anybody. You have to have a crazy person pick it up and go use it. And so we need to work with young people, with other citizens who have maybe identified mental health issues and try to prevent these things from happening. So if you're going to send a letter, at least cover some of the issues that deal directly with these types of mass killings. It's not the gun, it's the person carrying it. And I don't see anything in here addressing that.
I mean, in my comments in my backup documents, I did suggest a statement that said that we reinstate funding for mental health issues in this country to previous levels, which I would also agree to include in that. We really need to wrap this up.
I'd recommend
if that's
taking
okay.
off both 2 and 3. Fully support 1 and 4.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead.
You know, we've heard from a lot of people here, and you can see it's a very contentious issue. It's one of the reasons why I was concerned when we first considered this. You know, quite frankly, I think you ought to rewrite the letter and take it back to Telluride and have another hearing in order to make sure that we understand from people from all over the county. I like the idea of writing individual letters on this particular issue just because it's so contentious and people are coming at it from a different place. I certainly understand the people, I don't own a gun myself, I understand the people that feel that guns, there are too many of them in this country and we need to limit them. I understand that move. And in urban areas, it makes lots of sense. But I'm really moved by what Ward said. I don't see a lot of problems out here. I haven't seen a lot of shootings or guns that have been bad. And I'm really concerned that the principal reason for them, people seem to think, is that people want them for hunting and sport and protection of their home, but it's really about the government. It's about being sure that we don't get a government that we don't believe in, that no longer is true to our values. And while many of us may disagree about whether we should or shouldn't own guns, a personal decision, people that do own guns feel that we need to have safety and control and education, and that really mental health, and we pulled all the mental health funding. That's one of the things. We don't institutionalize anybody anymore, hardly. So we get a lot of people who are, you know, really inappropriate for gun control. The one issue that I would support, if we're going to write a letter, I would support what Dan said, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I understand if you're giving a gun to your son, you don't want to go through a background check. I got that. But if you're making a sale, a private sale, that's one of those loopholes that maybe should be covered. And I think it helps our authorized dealers as well. So if we're going to write a letter, I would support that letter that would say we would really support the fact that private sales would have to go through background checks. For the other stuff, I'm concerned. I really am. So I would suggest to you that we rewrite the letter and bring it up before a hearing in Telluride one more time so that we, again, get the whole county's perspective here.
I disagree with that. I would like to vote on this today. I would throw it out there that we would remove the paragraph with the statistics. We could add a sentence that says San Miguel County is a diverse population. Some of our constituents do not agree with the positions being stated here, and I would agree to a number 5 that says please reinstate mental health funding to the previous levels. We have to wrap this up. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, real quick.
Thank you. You do not have a legal obligation or responsibility to send your opinions to the legislature.
Thank you.
You are here to manage the laws of the county.
You
have no obligation to do this.
Thank you. I appreciate that comment.
What's
We do this
why
quite
don't you have
often.
another meeting?
Yeah, what's the
Because
fear about that?
I'm not afraid of it. I've heard from a large majority. I'll tell you my reasoning. This is not just a local issue. This is a national issue. It's being debated far and wide. Any of the statements that were said in this room today, I could go find from other people who have stated the very same positions all across the country. I've read it all. I've read it with an open mind, whether you think I have or not. And I'm hearing it. I'm also hearing all the other sides. We could have debates back and forth and hear from small percentages of our constituents who take time out of their busy days to come to a meeting and take time out of our agenda. As Mr. Greger just said, this is not like our highest responsibility as elected officials is to write letters to our congresspeople about this. But it is our job to represent the people of the county. The representatives at the state level and at the national level have a job to make laws. They come to us and ask us what our constituents think. I have been gathering information. I don't think that taking time out of a day for people to have to leave their jobs, drive, come to meetings to state an opinion that they've already stated to us and that we can find anywhere is necessary. I appreciate that you did that. But I think one meeting on that gives me a sense of what the point of view is here. That's my feeling.
But like Art said, what's the fear though? Honestly,
It's not a fear at all. I'm anxious to move forward on this so that we can get on with other work. That's it. It's not a fear. So that's
How about you leave the county out and just say you're representing the
Okay,
county, right?
once again, I am not doing that. I'm not elected in Telluride. I don't even live in Telluride. I'm not elected in Telluride. I'm elected by San Miguel County. I'm sure most of you, you can vote however you want. Everybody in the county votes how
Have
they
you taken
want.
any advice from your sheriff? On
You know,
any
the
of
sheriff is an
policy?
elected official on his
I mean,
end
just for
and
your own
her-
knowledge.
I often refer and
About
confer
this issue.
with
About this issue.
Bill Masters. Yes, we have discussed
Okay.
it.
The other thing
And
I would
I'm
like
sorry,
to say,
you've
the other thing I'd
spoken
like
twice
to say,
already.
I'd like to see
Please.
a vote today, because I want to see
Okay,
which
fine,
one
great,
the commissioners
good.
vote on.
Okay. And then real
What
quick,
you're going to
great.
do on the letter, because if you
Thank
go
you.
go after Telluride, we all know what's going to happen. So I'd like to see the vote done today.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Last comment real quick, and state your name, please.
Why would your
State your
opinion-
name, please.
Brendan Snyder.
Thanks.
Why should your opinion be over everybody else's?
Because we're elected to office. Thank you. End of comments, any other discussion, and is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion with the amendments to this letter that were suggested, that we redraft this letter stating that this letter does not represent all of the constituents of San Miguel County, not necessarily meet the needs of all the constituents of San Miguel County. I would like to add the additional number 5, reinstate mental health funding for this, and that's it.
Get rid of this.
And get rid of the portion that states the statistics from the Washington Post.
Thank you. Do you have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. And thank you very much
Can
for your
you
time
tell
today.
us who you're going to send these letters
Yes,
to and
to,
when, so we can write?
Yes, Scott Tipton,
Right here.
Mark Udall, and Michael Bennett, and if you want those addresses, John can give them to you.
Oh, no, we haven't.
Okay, can we take a 5-minute break? Yeah.
How do we see a copy of the actual letter you sent?
Oh,
Can we have that?
Yes, if you ask John, I'll make sure he gets a copy to you.
We'll
It
put it
will
on
be
the
in our
website.
It'll be on our website, it will be in the packet for next meeting.